to another Cleverdix podcast. In this podcast, we're talking to Dean Madsen. Dean is an Auckland-based swimmer who's been swimming for a long time and is currently building up to do a big swim or two in his future. However, as you'll hear when you listen to the podcast, he's had a bit of a tough year. He's had some heart issues and then ended up getting diagnosed with Parkinsons. So let's listen to how he deals with all of his challenges and what's in his future. Yeah, well, welcome to another Cleverdix podcast. Today we're talking to Dean. How are you today, Dean?
I'm good, thanks, Jim.
Fantastic.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, cool. So what we start off with is we just give you a bit of an opportunity to tell us your swim story, sort of how you kind of got into it and what it means to you and things like that. And then we can dive into the more interesting things and we'll take the conversation as it goes. So what's your swim story, Dean?
Okay. So I wasn't really much of a swimmer when I was little. I was mainly a surfer and gizzy. And the funny thing about that was when my dad used to take us down to the beach when I was young, he decided that he had enough of going to the beach every day because we were such mad keen swimmers, so I had to learn to swim. Got my 100-metre swim certificate, and once I had that, that was it. You can just go surf all you like.
You didn't need Dad to come down with you.
No, so there wasn't much swimming background as a youngster, but my two elder brothers were keen triathletes.
Yeah.
And I watched them. One of my brothers try to qualify for the Commonwealth Games, 1990 Commonwealth Games. And I guess that sparked an interest in triathlon. So that's probably where my swim journey started. Was I went along to a pool and got some technique lessons and started swimming. Did triathlons for about 15 years. A few Ironmans thrown in there, and then
just casually throws that in. A couple of Ironmans, yeah.
Yeah, my brothers were really good at short course, but I just went straight to the long. So, yeah, I just seemed to be a bit of an endurance nut, which probably brings me to where I am today. But about 15 years ago, I think I got really seriously into open water swimming. A mate of mine, Richard Ellis, started a men's health group with swimming as the main focus of it. So the idea of that was to go along, do some exercise, go and have a coffee and a bit of banter, and, that would be good for men's health. So that's kind of got us into swimming, and from there kind of proceeded to grow from that level.
Oh, I remember that's the mistake I made was I brought a woman to that group, right?
You did.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys accommodated us really well, so thank you.
Yeah, we had to sit at a separate table and have coffee at a separate table, and I was banished for the day, but that's okay. Yeah. Oh no, it's a good crew. So I think one of my mates about 7 or 8 years ago, we did our first sort of marathon swim, which was the one from Wairangi Bay down to Devonport. Yeah. And we trained pretty hard for that. We trained pretty hard all over the summer, and then on the day they cancelled it.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, it was quite funny. It was pretty rough, and one of my mates who hadn't trained quite as hard, he was walking down the road, and then they announced that it was cancelled, and he was going, "Woo! Yeah, it's not on." And then we politely told him when he got there that we're still going to swim. So his reaction was quite funny. Yeah,
but that must be like 10 Ks, yeah.
Oh, it's 12, but they call it 10 because it's tidal systems.
Okay.
But that day was probably an honest 12 with the chop. I remember some of the sideways chop hitting me, and you'd be swimming along, next thing you get hit by this wave and you just kind of move sideways. But It was fine. It was only occasionally. It was harder for our kayaker. We felt sorry for him.
Yeah. Well, that's, when it got cancelled, my kayaker, who's my daughter, was quite relieved. And I don't think she would have actually handled it. So
I think that's why they actually cancelled it, was more for the kayakers than the swimmers. And that was right. That was the right safety call.
Yeah. I did the last part of it that year. We just went from Takapuna around because one of the other swimmers, their son was like really seriously into surf life saving, so they thought, he'd be fine, and he was. Yeah.
It wasn't so bad once you got around North Head. It was just getting around North Head was the challenge that day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a washing machine.
It was quite lumpy that day. Yeah.
North Head is where that swimmer was knocked over by a ferry or a boat.
That's correct.
Like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was there. I thought it was around the Narrow-neck region, but I guess that is kind of that area.
Yeah, I think it was. I think he was going from Narrow-neck round into Devonport.
Geez.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question. Do you swim with a tow float? so that you're visible.
On and off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the Mocha crew, we've been swimming down at Takapuna, like inside the Lane Boys.
Yep.
And that's primarily where I swim. But when I go and I have to admit, I've been a bit naughty lately with the Beta Bay crew, and that I haven't brought my tow float. But generally, as a rule, if I'm with other groups, I'll take my tow float.
Yeah. Definitely adds a safety factor.
And to be honest, for health reasons now, I probably should have a tow float.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's been an interesting year.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that now. So when we met you, you had put your hand up for a Taupō crossing.
I had.
And you were training like mad, and I think we managed to do one swim around
Gulf
Harbour.
Harbour.
It's called Gulf Harbour, Shakespeare to Army Bay.
That was a great swim, that one. I really enjoyed that.
It was like 8Ks or so.
Eight to 9,
That was an awesome swim. It was really
beautiful.
good. Yeah. Besides the fact that I couldn't keep up with you guys, but that was good. Tell us what, maybe a little bit of that journey, and then, the wheels have fallen off a little bit. And where you're at now?
So the training was going pretty well, I thought, through January, February, and, I kind of got to March where I was, I guess, almost in the home straight to do that swim.
Yeah.
Had to go down to do a big swim in Queen Charlotte Sound with a group of people, and got sick 2 weeks before that. And it was kind of deja vu because, to be honest, I'd been sick the year before for that swim and not been able to complete it. I did one of the sections, but it's like about 10 legs through the whole swim, so I did two legs that year.
Yeah.
This year I got there and I was crook, and it was kind of like, oh shit, bloody deja vu. And I was almost going to hop on the boat and not swim the first day, and I thought, no, I just can't do that. And I thought, I'm just going to hop in the water and I'll swim okay, and if I don't feel any good, I'll hop out.
Yeah.
So kind of hopped in the water, had a swim, and felt okay.
Yep.
And felt quite, slowly picked it up, and next thing I know, I sort of finished fairly high up in the group, considering I was first sort of non-wetsuit person.
Yeah.
Back to the boat and thought, that was good, felt okay. Hopped on the boat, had a quick look at my Garmin. My heart rate was about 10, 15 beats higher than it should be, and I thought, okay, well, this ain't right.
Something's not right.
Yeah, so I kind of eased off and didn't swim the next day, and to be honest, I was crooked for the whole weekend.
Yep.
Came back, and it was actually lucky one of my mates got me an earlier flight because the weather was pretty rough with Air New Zealand. And I was driving home from the airport and just sort of thought, shit, my chest feels a little bit funny, and had a bit of pressure in the chest, and thought I would have ranked it a 1 out of 10.
Yep.
So most men, I think all of us would have ignored that entirely. And if it hadn't been for my Garmin showing all these high stress levels and
couple of
different things,
yeah.
and a few things over the weekend, I just thought, and then I actually thought I felt a little bit of sweat on my forehead.
Yep.
And said, right, those two things plus the Garmin, that could be hard.
Yep.
And I thought, I'm just going to go to the hospital and get checked.
Yep. Did you literally go straight from where you were?
I literally went, instead of going home, I rang my wife and said, look, not sure, but I'm just going to go to the hospital and get checked. I thought, well, at the very least, I'll run an ECG or do something.
Yep.
Wasn't looking forward to going to the hospital because I knew it was going to be a bit of a wait, but it actually didn't turn out to be as bad as I thought. And so it was really minor. When I was in the actual hospital, I think whatever they saw was quite minor, but it was all just enough. Like talking to the cardiologist post that, it was kind of like, everything was just enough to have a look. So anyway, after a series of tests, they found a blockage in my left artery. Yep. It was quite well. I think it was about 60 to 70% range.
Yep.
And I got a stent inserted.
Okay.
So obviously had to take a few weeks off swimming, couldn't do Taupō.
So that was like
that was March.
May?
That was March.
Okay.
That was March. Swim was supposed to be in April. That was March.
Yep.
So that basically, I had to ring Phil Rush from the hospital and say, look, mate, I can't swim. And I wasn't sure what it was going to mean, but the cardiologists and all that kind of at the hospital thought that swimming was still on the cards.
Yep.
Okay. I've subsequently seen a cardiologist, done a treadmill test, and they do want to do one more test on me, which we're going to do in November.
Yep.
But at this stage, I'm pretty comfortable, and since that episode, I eased into training really, really lightly. Like my doctor told me not to swim for 5 weeks, and my cardiologist said, "No, that's rubbish. That's too long."
I like your cardio. We must maybe give his details to this. To the guys after this.
Yeah, I 2 weeks later, I hopped in the water and thought, if I keep my heart rate real low, no worries, right? And I thought, well, swimming's all about feel. So I just wanted to be in the water, and I swam at probably an abysmal stroke and abysmal pace, but heart rate never went very high, and did that for a couple of weeks, and then felt okay, and slowly built it up, and within the 5 weeks, I think I was sort of back to squad, and took a little bit of confidence. I think once I I knew the cardio check was coming off the cardiologist. Once I got that tick, it was like back to full training, and it's sort of gone pretty good since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
So that then postponed your plans for Taupō probably a year out, right? I would imagine was the thinking.
Well, I mean, my goal has always been to do, to be honest, to do the Cook Strait. And I almost said to Phil Rush when I was in hospital, I said, look, well, after hospital, I said, look, I think I've learned a lot this year. Maybe we should just go straight to the Strait.
Yep.
But I subsequently thought about it, and to be honest, I don't think I'd trained hard enough. I didn't have my nutrition right. There's so many things that I didn't feel like I had right. So I thought, nah, I'm not gonna do the Cook Strait. I will do Taupō.
Yep.
I think it's a longer swim, and it's probably tough because of the time in the water. But you don't have the currents, you don't have all those kind of things to deal with. And I thought, well, in a way, part of it's harder, part of it's easier. I think, I've watched some of the people on the trackers this year, and there's some really good swimmers who haven't made it. Cook Strait,
100%.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm not good enough. So, I mean, one of the positive things about the heart was it gave me a chance to reset. And I went and talked to my swim coach, and I had done a few lessons with him the year before, but not many. And we'd started doing a bit of technique work. So I've used that passage of time to really get a lot of technique training in. And certainly there was quite a lot to fix. Yep. And still a bit to fix. But
who's your coach?
It was Jacob at Millennium, but he's just gone now, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's I think we're all sorry to see him leave.
He had quite a nice following, eh? He was...
he's just a genuine good guy, and I really enjoyed him, and the one-on-one sessions I had with him, and certainly will miss him. So whether I find someone else to fill that gap, because there's still a bit of correction to be done, but I think we've made some good changes.
Jim can reference you to somebody.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, my coach.
Cool.
So, Merle Maud at Swim Smooth works out of Glenfield. She's pretty good. Yeah, I'd go and have a yarn with her. See what you get.
Merlin. Yeah, I'll grab that name before I leave. Yeah, definitely. I need a little bit of work on my left arm, but it's getting there. So I knew even some of my training swims last year that with my left arm, I don't hold it out long enough, and I tend to. And I think I don't rotate enough too now. I was watching a video today, and I don't hold my rotation. Yep. So on the side non-breathing side, most people swimmers don't rotate enough. Yep. And I think that's the issue, which means then my hands dropping too far in the water, and then I'm pulling across. Yes. And of course, when it's choppy, that just gets over-exaggerated.
Yeah, I've got a very similar problem. My left hand's my problem, but so is my right arm, my left leg, my right leg, and my breathing.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of got a new excuse for my left arm. It shakes a little, so. It's a bit shaky.
You guys are braver than me, because I won't even go for video analysis, because they're going to just tell me to take up kayaking or something like that.
I don't even want to see video analysis, to be honest. I'd just rather have them say, look, that looks really crap, just do that.
So I'm assuming when you were sort of starting, like back in the day with triathlons and Ironman and stuff like that, you were in a wetsuit originally, or no?
Yeah. Primarily I was swimming in a wetsuit. So, non-wetsuit swimming's fairly new. Yep. Probably only started, to be honest with you, really only started the last summer.
Yep. Okay, so that's really new.
It's really new, to go non-wetsuit. Phil's kind of given me a little bit of a dispensation this winter of not so I've actually hopped back in the wetsuit. Yep. I was a little bit concerned with the heart and everything originally in the cold, not to overdo it. Yes. And stress the body even more. Yep. And also swimming through the winter was new to me. I only did a little bit of last winter, and that was my first winter. I'd done a couple of swims, but I did more last winter. Yep. And this year I've kind of swum through the winter for the first time. So that's a start. Looking to get rid of the wetsuit in October. So I think once the temperature gets to about 16 and a bit, that'll be enough.
Yeah, only 2 degrees off. Yeah, and we're getting there. Yep.
Oh, so hopefully I'll be back in the water at the same time you drop in the wetsuit. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll plan a date.
we should. Yeah.
Okay, so at that stage, maybe just a guide. So how old are you, Dean? You
So I'm
27, 28?
Yeah, no, I'm 61, almost 62. I'll be 62 in December.
Yep.
But I actually feel like I'm probably not swimming much slower than when I was in my 30s and doing Ironman, to be honest.
Cool.
Like, I think I was certainly fitter,
Yep.
and the breathing was better,
Yep.
but the technique wasn't as good.
Got you. Okay.
So, look, I wouldn't say I was as fast, but I'm not far off. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to do an Ironman swim and see what I can knock out. Yeah, put it that way.
Yeah, with a wetsuit and the whole thing.
With a wetsuit and that, I reckon. I think, because I used to come in, like Hawaii was my best swim in the Ironman. Hawaii I did 59 minutes.
Yep, 3.8 Ks, yeah?
I think Hawaii's 3.9, to be honest.
Okay.
But of course it's not wetsuit.
Let's stick it on the cards and do a 3.8K time
3.8
trial
time
in
trial.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, time trials.
Not
Those are
a
fun.
wetsuit. You'll be in June?
Yeah, I'll be on the support boat.
Yeah, just got to work out a good course that kind of fits it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. We'll organise a couple of guys to come swim with you.
Yeah.
We'll bring Shazil. He'll keep you on your toes, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, I was going to say an old man, but that's not appropriate. So maybe as a mature dad, husband, working dude, how do you fit the swimming and the training in around work and life and relationships and all of that stuff? Has that been easy, or has that just been something you've always done?
Well, to be honest, I mean, the training recently has been pretty easy. I retired from Westpac that I worked for 40 years, just over 3 years ago now. And then I was doing sort of odd jobs. But last year I took up a job working for a mortgage broking company. And when they were hiring me, I said, look, I don't want to work full-time. And they said, well, we don't want casual, we don't want part-time, we actually want full-time, but we're prepared to give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I negotiated that meant 3 times a week I'd go out and swim a couple of hours at lunchtime.
That's cool.
At squad. So fitting in swimming around work is not an issue.
Yeah.
Which therefore means fitting swimming around families not so bad either. It's easier, yeah. Saturday's always been my swim day with the Moku boys, so that's fine. Sunday I try to make a day for me and my wife, but she's also been a little bit, she's very accommodating, and that she understands that as my training picks up, I'm going to have to swim Sundays as well, which is kind of eating into what is ultimately our day. But so it's kind of
lots of balancing, eh?
a little bit of balancing, but not too bad, to be honest. I'm pretty lucky.
Nice, man.
Yeah, life's good.
And what type of distance do you get up to, like in your sort of base, sort of top week?
Yeah, because I've come back from this heart issue and a few different health things this year, I've really been concentrating on speed, pull, technique. So the mileage hasn't been that high. I'm probably only averaging about 12K a week. I think a few weeks ago I got up to 17 and a half. I think once we get into October I'll be into the 20s, which to be honest is ahead of where I was last year when I made the decision to do Taupō. We'd spent a bit of time travelling around Europe and wasn't swimming, so therefore had no base. Kind of picked it up and really most of my training got done in November, December and January. So I kind of feel confident that I'm ahead of the game this year.
Nice.
And can build from there. I think last year my peak week was about 20, it was close to 30K. Which is still not enough. But I still had time to go at that stage. So it was getting there. Yep.
Yeah, 30 Ks a week is still a lot of swimming, right? So.
It is, but for what I want to do, it doesn't feel enough, put it that way.
Yeah. So one of the things you mentioned was nutrition, and that's something that's nailed me on a couple of the swims. So what's going to be your plan to work out, nutrition training is almost as important as swim training, trying to work out exactly what your thing is. Did you have an intention or a plan as to how to work out what the best thing is for you?
I'm really in the early stages of working that out. But I know last year there was a couple of swims I did with Alan Jury where I was absolutely, like I was fine, like we'd swim 10K or 15K, but then the rest of the day I was wiped out. And one of the things I've been guilty of is that I would go and have a swim and have really hardly any, if any, pre-swim nutrition, even for my short swims. So now I'm starting to bring in, even if it's just a banana or toast with jam on it, or and then obviously some electrolyte drinks. I'm bringing that kind of stuff in as a start. I just bought a book on endurance nutrition for endurance athletes.
Oh yeah, I might even have that. Yep.
Yeah, I've only just bought it, so I'm only just starting to read it and looking at everything. So I'm really in the early phases of changing my nutrition, but I've made a couple of small changes already around what I eat, and the focus will be even more so.
Yeah, because my understanding of it is that there's so many things that you can do, and you've got to work out what's good for you. Because what works for Jono is not going to work for Dean. You have to work out what you need on your swims, right?
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how swimming compares to triathlon. Like, I'm still an avid triathlon fan and love watching the Ironman World Champs and things like that. And, the amount of carbs that those guys eat and how they handle it. But, of course, that they all talk about what they're doing, but also how they've trained their body to take in those carbs. Yeah. So I think when I do my long swims this year, that'll certainly be something that I'll have in mind.
Hi, listeners. Jim here. You probably know that Duncan and I have a little business called Swimscape. Swimscape supports swimmers doing marathon swims, but we also support groups doing relays. The little group that we're with did a relay swim the length of Taupō a couple of years ago, and we had such a good day, and it was a real fun experience. So if you and your friends want to do a relay swim of any description and need some support, please drop us a line at info@swimscape.co.nz and we can talk about it. Come on, it's going to be fun. I agree with you. I think that, those long swims is probably less about just swimming and more about trying to work out exactly what nutrition and how your body deals with it and everything else like that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Well, that day we did the 9K, that 8 to 9K swim around Gulf Harbour, for instance. I had a couple of gels. I had no liquid. And I was dehydrated at the end of the swim. So it definitely impacted me on that last part of the swim as well in terms of performance and probably recovery. So
I didn't notice that.
Maybe more on recovery, Jim.
Yeah, it's definitely just fuel, right?
It's fuel, yeah. I mean, your body needs fuel. So I was probably just guilty of just not paying enough attention to it. Like I say, it's something that I'm planning to pay attention to. So the two big things I'm looking at is, well, actually three really. It's technique, nutrition, and probably training volume. Yeah. But again, due to some of my health reasons, I'm also looking at recovery being important as well.
Yes.
And at our age, I think recovery's
what's our age? Your age.
I was looking at Jim. I was going at our age.
Keep me out of that.
So from the two guys who were able to swim today,
who were in the water and actually putting some output out. Nutrition was important for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just edit that piece out. So Dean, we were sort of hopping around and skating around it, but you've had some other health issues pop up in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
So you've had a really tough year, man, in terms of getting your head around a couple of new things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a month and a half ago, I got diagnosed with Parkinson's, and I'd like to say it was a shock, but it probably wasn't. I think last year, to be honest, I already had tremors in my left arm. And I'd been at my physio, and she had noticed them, and she said, and I kind of told her I'd had it for a little while. To be honest, I don't even know when it exactly started, but it's been going for a while. Yeah. She said, I think you should go to the doctor and get that checked out. I thought it was maybe nerves, something like that. So I went to the doctor and they referred me on to a neurologist, and then with our lovely health system in New Zealand nowadays, you've got to wait. So roughly 10 months later, which was probably only just a month and a half ago, to be honest, it was the beginning of September, I got the diagnosis after going through a whole checklist of questions and assessing me that I had Parkinson's, which I suppose where I was a little bit concerned the most of was that my father-in-law, my wife's father, had Parkinson's, and he obviously lived for a long time with it, but we got to see the impact on his wife, family. I knew my daughter took it pretty hard when Granddad passed away.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be a shock for the wife, but she kind of knew. I went home and I said, had the test today, and she said, so you got Parkinson's? And I said, yeah. Oh. And she said, no, you're kidding me, right? And I go, no. But she's been awesome about it. Which I wasn't sure how we'd go there, and then my daughter broke down, which I kind of expected. Yeah.
How old's your daughter?
She's 22. Sorry, no, she's 23 now actually. But she's a sensitive one.
Yeah. So what is Parkinson's? What are the? So what is it? What is the way forward? How's it going to impact your life and I guess swimming? Yeah. As a minor result.
So I guess it's a neurological disease, but it's my understanding it's to do with the dopamine levels in the brain, or something to do with the neurons that you have. You got cells that die and then they can't produce as much dopamine.
Yep.
And dopamine, I think most people would know, is the kind of pleasure part of the brain.
Yep.
So maybe that's why I'm a bit of a grumpy bugger at times. But that's my understanding is the dopamine, and Parkinson's is a slow burn disease, as we saw in my father-in-law. But everyone's different. So I can't think that I'm going to be like him. My main symptoms at the moment are just essential tremors, which means my left arm shakes.
Yep.
The guys always used to laugh at me when coming from a swim. I think I was really cold.
Yes.
And to be honest, I actually think the cold exacerbates the shakes a bit.
Yep. Sure it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's predominantly my left arm, and it's gotten worse over from when I went to the doctors a year ago to where it is now. It's slowly deteriorated, and I think that's the thing, is it will deteriorate. So when I had that conversation with my wife that day, she said to me, well, what do you want to do? And that's more what do you want to get done in life where you've got the health. So that's where she was coming from.
Yep.
And I said, well, the two key things are to do these swims, and for me, and also to maybe go back to Europe again, visit family over there.
Yep.
So I guess, you don't know with your health, and I don't know with my health what it's going to look like. Obviously, it's going to change over time.
Yep.
So I just feel like I've got a window, and that window is now.
Yep.
And hopefully I've got a window of a couple of years to get a couple of these things done.
Yeah.
Exercise is supposedly good for Parkinson's, and that it helps with dopamine levels.
Yeah.
And I feel great when I'm swimming. I've got a great bunch of mates in the Mocha crew that support me.
Yeah.
So all those kind of things that you need in your checklist of friends and swimming and all that kind of stuff, it's all there, right? So it's a good basis to work off.
Yeah. So you sort of, I guess, just carry on with the routine and get more stuff done, right?
Yeah. So I kind of immediately decided, and I had planned for Taupō that I was going to fundraise. And to be honest, I thought it was going to be the Heart Foundation after what had happened to me earlier in the year. But as soon as I got diagnosed with Parkinson's, it was right. It's got to be Parkinson's. Josh's dad had it. I've got it now. Go and support them. And I don't think they're as well funded organisation. Look, to be honest, I don't know, but I know they're not. I don't believe they're government funded. And I've got in touch with them. They've sent me some information packs, had a chat to an educator. There seems to be a really good support network for those people who need it. I think it's probably more when you're more advanced with the disease in particular. But look, they do lots of things for people who've got Parkinson's. So it was just natural to say, hey, well, guys, I'm contacting you to let you know that I've just recently been diagnosed. What can you do for me? But by the way, I'm going to do something for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hello, swimmers. I'm Shannon Keegan, U.S.-based founder of Intrepid Water and host of the podcast Stories from the Water. My friends at Swimscape in Auckland, New Zealand, are the proud ambassadors of Auckland's most iconic ocean marathon swim, the 20 kilometers around Rangitoto Volcano in the Hauraki Gulf. This is a very achievable marathon swim that, like all long-distance swims, will live in your memories forever. I don't know about you, but I've got this swim on my bucket list for when I get to visit the beautiful land of the Kiwi. Jump on swimscape.co.nz or email info@swimscape.co.nz to book your slot. See you in the water.
Well, nice. We'll be behind you, supporting you.
Thank you.
So when's Taupō? Taupō.
Don't have a firm date. I just completed the registration form today and got it witnessed by a friend.
Yep.
And we'll send that off to Phil next week. But I did say to him the plan was to do it near the end of March. So hopefully it looks like they've got a weekend available.
Nice.
So again, I'm supposed to go into Queen Charlotte, which has been my bogey swim.
Yes.
2 years in a row.
So that's with Peter Gibbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had him on our podcast. I was talking to Marika about it today. Actually,
That's a great swim. There.
Yeah. Well, Marika's always there. She's done every one.
Yeah.
She gave me a hard time last year because I turned up in my buoyancy shorts because she thought I was going to do it. Not with suit togs, not in my buoyancy shorts. But that was just so I could swim away from her quite comfortably.
She's tough, eh?
She is tough. She's a good swimmer. Yeah.
she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're aiming hopefully sort of March, April-ish.
It'd be either the very beginning of April or the end of March. So, like with Phil, you don't necessarily get a firm date until closer to the time, but I've kind of told him, and I believe that he's taken that on board. I've already had an email back saying here's a registration looking at the end of March. So,
Yeah.
Lots
Lots of stuff, weather and everything that plays a part. Hey?
Yeah, I think last year I only had a firm. Well, I don't even know if I had a firm date, but we actually did get a firm date, but it was only about a month out from the swim. So I was literally just training, wondering when it was going to be.
Oh, but that's a long date. Chatting to some of the guys, they get like a 2-day notice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so I guess it's not so bad then.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time, and no excuses this time. Okay, man.
So just going on from that Parkinson's, has it changed your how you're swimming or anything like that, or is it just a condition that you now know and you deal with and you kind of doing the same thing as you were doing before, or has it changed anything?
There's a few things I guess I'm aware of that happens with the disease because it can cause a lot of muscle tightness. I think, you get the Parkinson's stoop with your back and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all going to take time, but I suppose the advantage I've got is knowing that what might occur in the future and trying to take those steps and measures to counter that, right? So balance can be an issue for people with Parkinson's and falling and things like that. But again, like I say, it's a slow burn and there's different stages. There's going to be a stage down the line. So I think the strength work and the exercise and whatever you do today is going to starve that off or delay it in the future, right?
So a lot of gym work as well is helpful, is it?
Well, I think
the right bits of it.
Well, I think a little gym work is good anyway because I don't do enough for my swimming. I do 1 or 2 sessions a week in the gym, which is not enough, and I don't do any. I do all arm work, right? So I don't do much leg work. I do a few exercises at the gym, and I do a little bit of treadmill stuff, and I walk. That's the length of my leg work nowadays. Occasionally, my wife takes me for a bike ride and paddleboard and surfing for balance, I guess.
Yeah. So there's no drug sort of schedule associated with Parkinson's? No,
there is a medication that can help. And to be honest, I'm at a stage where I'm in two minds about it. Not that I won't go on the medication, because I definitely will. But there are side effects with the medication. And two of the side effects are fairly minor. One can be a little bit of nausea, and I think the other one, it can make you a little bit sleepy, and it's kind of like, well, if you're doing an endurance swim or things like that, and you've got nutrition, you don't want to be vomiting or anything like that. I'm not saying it's going to, because these side effects only affect a small range of people. Talking to the neurologist, when I got the diagnosis, he started to talk about the medicine, and there's other side effects which are more serious, I suppose. So they've got to get the dose just right. If you get too much dopamine, I think the extreme is schizophrenia. But I think that's an extreme, and I don't think that's something that occurs much or at all, to be honest. But I don't know. I've got to go. Like, this diagnosis is fairly new, and I've had a couple of weeks over in Raro. I was planning just to go and do my normal doctor visit and maybe have a chat to him about the meds. So if I go into the meds, it'll be before Christmas to give me time to adjust for the training, nutrition, and understand what it means. Or the neurologist did say to me, because at the meeting I said, well, look, I'm not sure whether I can make this decision to go on these meds today. And he said, well, don't wait 3 or 4 years, because he said every 6 months, you won't notice it day to day, but maybe in 6 months' time or 12 months' time, you'll notice a change. And he said, you don't want to get 3 or 4 years down and not be on the medication. And I think things have changed in terms of how they view the medication than in the past. So in the past, they actually would have probably said deferring it's okay, because that then delays the side effects. But now I think they don't think that the side effect impact is bad.
So if you start earlier, then you might slow down the progression. Is that kind of the?
I don't know if it slows down. Look, I don't understand. I don't fully understand. But I don't believe it. I think there's also a risk that if you leave it too long, that some of those side effects, the medication might not work as well either. Look, again, this is a conversation I want to have with the doctor. The neurologist kind of said, well, come back and see me in 6 months' time. He said, well, based on the medical system, it's probably going to be 12. And the report that he wrote up literally kind of commented that, I think didn't need to go on the medication straight away. So that's why I haven't been panicking about it, because I'm thinking, well, take the time, understand what it means. But I know that I've either got to go on probably before Christmas, or I'll delay it until after the swim. And then do it. So it's kind of funny, like I'm in two minds. I'm not sure which way to go, and probably a bit of research and talking to the right medical people will help firm up the decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the ways to get a really nice big dopamine hit, as you know, is to get into an ice bath every morning. Is that on your schedule, or is that just urban myths?
I don't know. I know. Last year I was trying to do a little bit of adaptations to training just for hopping in the sea, and we've got a swimming pool at home, and it gets down to. Well, I know this winter when I hopped in, it was 12 degrees, which is almost ice bath material, probably not quite, but cold enough to get a bit of a hit. Yep. And you do feel something afterwards, right? 2 or 3 hours afterwards, you certainly feel some changes. And I know it made swimming in the cold and the sea easier. Certainly helps. I don't know whether it's mental that you just think, well, I can do this, so it's easier.
I think it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah. You reckon? Duncan thinks it's a bunch of absolute cobblers, I believe. That's fine.
That's just my personal experience, right? But
Yeah, you don't have any personal experience because you've never been in an ice bath, so don't give us that.
It's an ice bath at home?
Yes, but you don't get in it.
Never.
Well, I know swimming back-to-back days in the cold, it gets easier in the second day. I've had swims where I've swum on a Saturday and it's been cold. I'm thinking, oh my God, and then gone the next day and gone, that was so much easier. How was that? The same temperature.
Oh, I've never noticed that. Yeah,
but you're soft.
I am. Yeah.
But you swim in the cold regularly, though, Jim.
But I'm soft.
So, stupid question.
Yeah.
With your left hand shaking, as an example.
Yeah.
Is there any impact on your strength or your technique like right now, or when you're swimming, do the shakes disappear?
I've been using that as an excuse for my technique. my left arm has been shit.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean they got the cardiologist got me to do this piano thing, and you can see clearly when I try and play the piano that my left arm coordination hand is not quite as good.
Yes. Okay.
So when I was talking to Jacob when we were coaching, I said, "Oh, maybe it's the Parkinson's why I'm not getting this left arm technique thing." But I think that's, to be honest, I think that's bollocks. I've made improvements. Got to work hard. Got to think hard. And it's the good thing is, right, it's all. Look, I don't believe I've had any slowdown in any brain function, anything like that. Everything seems fine. So it's more the tremors. But clearly there is some coordination issues, and I've got a lot of extra muscle tightness in this arm, which I think probably is due to the Parkinson's with the shaking, and it can cause muscle tightness. But I'm swimming as quick as I was last year, and I think I'll get faster. So I don't believe it's going to slow me down.
Nice.
But I've just what it says to me is you just got to work even a bit harder on that arm and that technique and think about it more.
Think about it more. Yeah, you got to concentrate, huh?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the steps on the training regime between now and March? I mean, surely there's a couple of bucket swims that you need to get under your belts in terms of knowing that you can do what we're looking at, 14 hours, 15 hours in the water. Yeah,
I certainly want to make sure, because like last time I never got a 20k swim in, so I think I did a 10 and a 15, so I want to do more of those long distance swims, and a 20 will definitely be on the bucket list.
Yeah.
I haven't registered for it yet, but I did see that swim that's advertised end of November, which is the 12 1 miles.
Yes.
And I thought
for men's mental health.
For men's mental health, which I thought, hey, that's great. And I thought, well, that might be quite a good one to do, because it kind of seems a bit of relaxed. You swim a mile, have a break, swim a mile, have a break. And then I thought, well, that's perfect. I can just come in, have my nutrition there, get used to my nutrition, maybe even time trial a few of the ones just to see if I can get on pace for what I want to do.
And that's just shy of 20 Ks, right? So that's about 19.2 Ks, I think.
Yeah. So I'm definitely seriously thinking about entering that. I want to go around Gulf Harbour again. That was one of my favourite swims last year.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll put my hand up. We'll do that with you.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I might have a couple extras.
Yeah, easy, bring them.
Oh, we'll bring some extras as well.
That was a great swim. It was really good, Yeah,
no, I enjoyed that. And I've been telling the guys about it and saying, you got to come and do this swim. So, and we might, I think we're going to reenact a swim that I did. I've done a couple of times, which is that one that got cancelled. The swim from Mairangi to Devonport, the 12K.
Yes. Yeah.
There's another thing that's special about that swim, which I didn't kind of allude to, but that was my first marathon swim, and I went back to work and talked to Olaf.
Yes.
You probably know Olaf.
Chopper Challenge.
The Chopper Challenge.
Yeah.
And that was actually the dawning of the Chopper Challenge.
Okay.
I said to Olaf, mate, I did this swim, and I said, it's bloody crazy. I said, next time I do anything as crazy as that, I'm doing it for charity.
Okay.
And I said, hold that thought. So next thing you know, I'm having a coffee with him and Michael Buck, and we're talking about the swim and how to raise money for the Westpac Chopper. And then Bucky was training for Rottnest, which is 22.
Yes.
And they said, well, if we're going to do something, it's got to be around that 20K mark.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was, well, who needs the chopper? Well, Waiheke, the island, they need the chopper, right?
Yep.
It's a service.
Yes.
How far is it? Yes. And it's like, boom, 20K. Perfect.
The science.
So it all just sort of kind of fitted in nicely. And so the chopper swim was born.
And then it fell apart a little bit, eh? I think COVID, it lost a bit of...
COVID didn't help. And then I think it's all this... red tape, I think, just got too difficult for them. I mean, they had it well organised. They had it really well organised, and Olaf had put some really good procedures in place.
Yes.
The trust took it over, and we're running it, and it's just got too hard, which is a shame, because it was a good fundraiser for them. I can't remember how much money we raised, but it was quite significant over that period.
It was a great swim on the calendar, and it's got a good following, right? So I'm pretty sure if it came back, that would be well supported, Pull some strings. You've got some West Coast strings, man. Come on.
I don't work there anymore, but I still talk to, have the odd beer or talk to the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were in the banking industry for 40 years, yeah?
Yeah.
So my dad, exactly the same thing. My dad was the youngest of a couple of kids, and he didn't finish high school.
No.
His dad was like, "Hey, that's it. Like, I'm done with paying school fees or whatever the case was." And his eldest brother said, "Hey, I'll organise you a job interview for Standard Bank, which is like the equivalent of like an ANZ type scenario." Started off there, and literally 40 years later took early retirement. He never ever went for another job interview in his whole life. 40 years in the bank.
I was literally almost the same. It was funny because I'd finished school and all I wanted to do was surf, and I was actually almost thinking about going back to school because it was the perfect holiday, right? Just surf all the time. And my parents kind of looked at me and said, "Well, you need to go and get a job. You can't just surf all the time." It's like, okay. So then I started looking at things, and I was good at accounting at school and applied for a job in the bank, and that's how I kind of ended up there. But I mean, it was a good career. And Westpac were good employers. So
Yes.
yeah, they really looked after me.
That's not a Westpac shirt, right? Big bright red T-shirt that you got.
No, this is Parkinsons in New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Cool. The start of the fundraising.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're almost up to 2,200 now.
Yeah.
And probably have a big push when we get nearer the swim, and have a couple of other little pushes during the year. Keep everyone updated. But sort of got a goal. I'd like to raise a minimum of 4,000 for Parkinsons if I can.
Yep.
So over halfway.
So can you share that detail with us, and we'll put this at the bottom of the clip.
Yeah.
And anybody that's interested in supporting you or supporting Parkinsons can donate some money. That can be awesome.
Yeah.
Chasing 4,000.
Chasing at minimum 4,000.
So you're almost there.
Halfway.
Yeah, man. You'll get way past that, I'm assuming.
I would hope so. Yeah. And I'll share this podcast with Parkinsons if that's okay. I'm sure they'd like to share it with their members. Hopefully I can do something good for them.
100%. That's absolutely no problem. Well, what I think we should do is aim to catch up with you probably on the flip side of your Taupō swim and have a catch up and see how that's gone. And I'm hoping at that stage you'll put your hand up for another round of fundraising for Parkinsons with the Cook Strait. And wherever we can help in terms of training swims or whatever, communication, give us a shout and we'll see you in the water. But you've had a tough year. I'm hoping it only gets easier going forward and, kick some ass.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few obstacles, but I think you just take each one in your stride and, it's not going to stop me doing what I want to do. So away I go.
That's life, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
Roll with the punches.
Just roll the punches and carry on.
Yeah, awesome.
Fantastic.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much. Really appreciated you
Thanks, Jim.
giving us your story. Thank you, Dean.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Caitlin O'Reilly. I'm the youngest person to have completed the Ocean 7 Challenge. If this really cool podcast has helped you learn something new, maybe it's introduced you to new swimmers, made you smile, then please take the opportunity to subscribe to Duncan and Jim's channel. I'm sure they would absolutely appreciate all your support. Cheers.
Thanks, Caitlin. Well, as always, you can give us feedback on our Instagram account @CleverDicks or send us an email cleverdicksnz@gmail.com. We'd really appreciate hearing from you. And cheers. We'll speak to you again soon.